Thanks so much for staying with Sunrise Live. On in studio, we have the Commander-in-Chief of the new political platform, Economic Freedom Fighters, Julius Malema. And we also have independent political analyst, Prince Mashele. You at home, give us a call. Prince, we broke your word there when you were just about to respond. Yes,
Julius is calling upon South Africans to take pain. That there's no revolution without pain. That's his take. Now, there's a revolution in Syria as we speak. Those who watch television would know what pain means. People die. There's bloodshed. There's a revolution in Egypt. There was a revolution in Egypt and Libya. In Egypt, as we speak, it's chaos. That interim president can't hold a nation together. Egypt is a gangster's paradise as we speak. There are bands of commanders-in-chief who control pockets of Libya. Now, if that's what Julius wants South Africans to do, God help us.
Teboho from Northwest, thanks for holding us holding on the line. What's your comment or question?
Thank you. Hey, Juju, how are you, my friend?
Fine, how are you, my brother?
I'm all right. Juju, it's not only Zimbabweans in South Africa. We got so many Ethiopians, Pakistans, all these nations in South Africa. We have been working, we outside South Africa, over Eritrea, there, whatsoever places they be. South Africa has never been all right before. So what I'm trying to tell these guys to...
All right, sorry about that. Thanks so much for calling, Teboho. But
that's why you must get economic freedom.
You must get economic freedom. But, Julius, one of the things that you call for is for the eradication or abolishment of the tendering scheme. And we know as a fact that the Ratanang Trust Fund had been a beneficiary of tendering. Yeah. So that is a contradiction, just in terms of the policy that you're now proposing.
No, it's not a contradiction. No. There was no abolishment of tenders when the company linked to Ratanang got a tender. There was no abolishment. It would have been a contradiction if the policy existed and Ratanang got a tender even when the policy said you can't get a tender. So we are talking the future. We are not talking backwardness. We are saying moving into the future, why do you call for tenders on engineering when you've got Department of Public Works, which is supposed to employ people with qualification in engineering and execute those responsibilities on behalf of the state, so employed by the state. So what we're calling for there is that we need to strengthen the state capacity to be able to deliver on its own. But the point is, in areas where we think that we do not have as capacity as a state, there's nothing wrong outsourcing.
In having the multiplier, excuse me, just let me make this point very quickly. But in terms of creating or being the multiplier of economic participation, government, in getting a majority of black people to participate in some form of business, especially through tendering, if you take that away, isn't that also an exercise in futility in what you're trying to achieve, the economic freedom?
No, what we are saying is that we shouldn't outsource the things that the state has got capacity to do, so that we save the state those millions and be able to invest them where they're needed the most. And that doesn't eradicate tenders. I mean, if we're saying we need our land in order to promote small-scale farming and people produce for themselves, they will still provide that service to the state. If we're building a sophisticated equipment which requires certain skills in the technology, and we do not have such, or in science we do not have such, we'll still outsource those types of services. So generally we're saying the basic things that the state ought to provide, you can't outsource sweeping of the streets.
All right, got you. Let's quickly go to Faith. She's got messages on Facebook. Over to you, Faith.
Thank you very much for that, Cindy. Yes, indeed. We've got different views coming in about the economic freedom fighters this morning. Beginning off with Marius saying, why fix a machine that's running? They should instead modify what's working to profit all. Stop the destruction of our country before it happens. Tejo saying that's exactly how it should be because the ANC does not want to nationalize because they will have to lose their shares and money is the only thing that they care about. I'll vote for Juju, but maybe he will forget about his priorities once he's up there, but we will give him a chance. Duma Audacious saying madness by the mentally disturbed. That's his view on the issue. Victor saying, I'm waiting to hear from our commander, the future president. That is what he's calling Juju this morning. And Tabiso saying, hey, let's wait and see. Ben Douglas Ngwanga saying that that's a marriage planned by the devil himself. Juju is running around telling the nation that he's the only one that can run the country. Those with ears and brains listen, hear, digest, and come to a logical conclusion. The guy is an absolute dictator, period. Surely, how can you give Zimbabwe and use Zimbabwe as an example of success when its citizens are scattered all over the world, looking not only for wealth, but for food? He goes on to say, you have lost it, Mfetu. Innocent saying, why not try it and see the difference? And Butumelo saying, are we politically or economically free? Because if I remember well, there's a statement on the policy of the ANC that says economic freedom for all. And lastly, Tabi is so saying, with the right support structures, yes. Teach the people how to run the land given. Have experts in every field, mining, farming, banking, economics. Then I see nothing but an unimaginable growth for the country. So those are the different perspectives coming in from Facebook this morning regarding the issue of the economic freedom fighters. It is over to you in the studio, Cindy.
All right, thanks so much, Faith. How do we define economic participation for all or economic benefits for all?
We're talking about expropriation of land without compensation and distribute it amongst our people. We're talking about nationalization of mines, which will lead to industrialization and beneficiation. We're talking about quality education.
The forceful seizure by government or yourselves, or how's it going to work in acquiring these assets that are currently in private hands?
We need to identify this land. All of us have to declare if we've got a piece of land, what do we use it for, which purpose? And therefore, majority of the land that was not properly acquired and the land that is not, being used, also have to be, taken and be used, for production in South Africa and by South Africans. We need to stop foreign ownership of our land. We need to ensure that nationalization of mines, the mineral resources and other strategic sectors in the economy are to the benefits of the majority of our people.
Yeah, that's just the Freedom Charter. At least, half of the points that you've mentioned.
Do you agree with the Freedom Charter?
If you
agree with the Freedom Charter, you are agreeing with us.
Like that, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, but you see, it's very easy for Julius to sit comfortably in this couch and mouth all of those sweet-sounding slogans. Translating them into the practical life of people is something different. Let me tell you something about Africa, a continent is passionate about. Africa has got vast tracts of land that are not utilized because Africans in the main, outside South Africans, they farm for subsistence. I suppose that's where he wants to go. But the reason why they are not actually utilizing their land is because they don't have technical skills to farm commercially. Now, Julia sitting here, he wouldn't tell you which agricultural school in South Africa produces the best skills for our agricultural sector. He won't tell you, he does not know. But he wants to distribute land and do all sorts of funny things. That's one. Two, in terms of mining, if you were to take all the Anglo-American mines and Xstrata and Glencoe and say, Julius, here are the mines tomorrow. You've been given. This is what you've been crying for. What would Julius do with these mines? I mean, in the middle of nowhere, northwest. Julius is not a geologist. He does not even know how to do anything related to mining.
I think you've made your point, Prince. Yeah. Let's give him, at least he can speak for himself.
No. I mean, this is just being petty and being myopic. He reduces the whole policy to Julius, and that is childish. He should be better than this as an analyst. So I'm very disappointed that you call people who are very personal. We're talking about policy which is supported by many, and in those people, majority of those who are supporting this policy have got different skills he's talking about. So this is not Julius Malema's policy. It's a policy that people support and people bring different types of expertise and skills into the whole project. And government is not run by Julius Malema. Government is run by qualified individuals who are employed to discharge what he's talking about. So he's talking comfortably on a comfortable seat, and he says, I'm doing that, as if he's not on a comfortable seat. And by the way, his job is to tap blah, blah, as an analyst. There's nothing he does. He knows nothing about running government or an organization. He has never done that. So he talks from a lack of an experience. His job, he gets paid for play. That's what he do.
We wait for the day to see you and hopefully many other political parties who add that vibrancy and youthful energy in Parliament. But thanks indeed for coming through this morning. We'll follow this one very closely. And thanks for your insights, Prince, as well. We're speaking Commander-in-Chief Julius Malema, the political head of the Economic Freedom Fighters, and Prince Mashele, an independent political analyst. And thanks for your views as well. We'll take a quick ad break. We'll see you shortly.